my most well-loved, my most used, my holy grails, the whole 9 yards. Ooh, I kind of want to take my makeup off and like just bathe myself in cream blush. Hey guys, and welcome to today's video. So today I'm going to be talking about my favorite cream blushes. This is another episode in my tops series that I've been doing recently on my channel, which is where I've been going through every category and giving my top favorites, my most well-loved, my most used, my holy grails in each category. And today we're going to be talking about cream blush. If you know me, if you've seen my channel before, you know I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed with cream blush. I've tested a lot of the options out there, a lot of them. I really had a hard time doing this. It was hard, but not at the same time. It's like, I know which ones I love the most, but it's just because I love so many of them. These all are honestly incredible products. I could not narrow it down to 5. I could not. So today is a top 10. So forgive me, I have some more options, but it's just more the merrier. They're all worth mentioning. They're all totally deserve the attention they're getting right now. So it's not a bad thing. It's just that there's that many good options out there. We have a couple more affordable options. We have some high-end options. We have some more dewy options, some more matte options. We've got different color tones and shades. So let's get to it. I'm going to try to be really short and sweet because I don't want to make this a long video. So, you know, bear with me here. So this is in no specific order. I just have to start somewhere. This is one that you've probably heard of before and already know about. Let's get it out of the way. The Rare Beauty Liquid Soft Pinch Blush. This is hands down one of my favorite blushes. I have tested the matte formula. I have tested the dewy formula. I love them both. This specifically is my new favorite shade. This is the shade Encourage. So it is more of like a mauvey shade, which I love that she brought on some more cooler toned options. So this is the formula. The dewy formula has a more of like a sheen to it. It juices up the skin a little bit more, but it's not overly dewy. It doesn't have any shimmer to it. It just has a beautiful sheen. The matte obviously is a more matte, but it doesn't dry the skin out. You know, there's warm tone options, there's darker options, and there is brighter options. And then there are options like this where it's a more neutral, kind of cooler toned option, which I love. So not only do I love the shade, but I love the formula. It's extremely pigmented. A little goes a long way, but it's also really easy to work with. It's easy to correct if you do apply too much, or build up really easily if you want a darker look. And I just find it's a really flattering blush. It's extremely long wearing, as they seriously last all day, like all day. It is not going anywhere. I absolutely love these. They will forever be a favorite, and I'm just loving the shades she's coming out with. It was the first liquid blush I had ever tried too. So I was like, what is this? I'm scared. And now I'm like, obsessed. I'm obsessed. Another liquid blush that I have, let's do all the liquids first, and that is the Say Dew blush. This is the first and only product I've tested from the brand, and it definitely has me interested in testing more. It is one of the most flattering blushes ever. This is definitely a more warmer, lighter option, warmer toned, lighter option. It is a more like peachy blush. But again, all of these you can get in different shades. So if you don't like the shades I have, then you can get the same formula in a different shade. This is the shade Peachy, and as you can see, they both are dewy actually. So these are definitely probably the dewiest options in these top 10. The Say one is, I would say, maybe a little bit dewier than the Rare Beauty Dewy, as it has a little bit more of a hydrating formula without making your makeup break down or removing coverage. It just melts into the makeup. It looks so juicy and healthy on the skin, and it really like gives you that zhuzh and that kind of that glow without being overbearing. And I do find that both of these work pretty good over top of powder. I would say the liquid ones are a little bit more, you have to be careful when you work on top of powder with creams and liquids, as it can, you know, break down the makeup. So you want to be very like precise. You don't want to be like blending in, but you can kind of add on top of powder, which is always nice. And I really like this one because it's a little bit of that more hydrating formula, and it doesn't break me out. It doesn't break my foundation down. It's just really, really, really flattering on the skin. So those two are definitely good options for those who have dry skin, who like a dewier finish, or honestly for anybody, because they're just that stinking beautiful. And both are pigmented, blendable, buildable, the whole 9 yards. So let's stick to the dewy trend. We'll do all the ones that have more of a sheen to it, and then we'll move on to the ones that have more of a matte finish or a satin finish. The next one is also new, and it is the Huda Beauty Cheeky Tint. This is their new cream blush stick. This is in the shade Proud Pink, and it is a cool toned bubblegum pink. So we are getting a nice array of shades. I love this shade as it's not quite as intimidating as it looks on my hand. It shears out nice, so you can have a really natural look, but you can also build it up to be more bright. When you actually look at it on the hand there, it looks almost metallic. And when you actually look at the cream stick, it looks metallic on the stick as well. So I was very intimidated by this one. I was like, I don't know how this is gonna turn out. But once you blend it in, and I will kind of blend this one a little bit to show you, it doesn't look metallic at all. There's no shimmer to it once you apply it on the face and blend it in. It just gives you the most beautiful dewy sheen, and it just melts right into the makeup. It looks so a part of your skin. It has a skin-like finish, and it looks incredible on the skin, so healthy, and that nice kind of glowy dew, and a little bit easier to work with in some ways because it is on a stick. So if you are scared of liquids, I mean, you shouldn't be, because they're stunning and they are actually very easy to work with. But if you are scared, then this is one that is in stick form, and it is beautiful. So we also have the Merit Beauty Flush Balm. So this is another kind of stick, but it's in more of like a round, short form. This is the shade Cheeky. So this one has a little bit more of a really nice richness to it. It's absolutely stunning. And this one is probably one of the most like natural looking blushes ever. This one is like a cooler toned pink, but then there is also an even darker one, Mood, which scared me a little bit, but it is so stinking easy to blend out and work with and build and sheer out. Honestly, all of them are really easy to work with. So I'm going to repeat myself a little bit here, but this is another one that really is easy to use. It is an extremely clean formula. I also really, really love the Makeup by Mario Soft Pop Blush Stick in the shade Pale Petal. So this one is a little bit more of kind of like a corally pink. It has a bit more warmth in it. And this kind of has that dewy finish as well. It is not the dewiest of all the ones I've mentioned, but it still has a bit of something to juice up the skin and hydrate the skin a little bit, and make it look a little bit more healthy. And it is really, really beautiful. I love the shade, the formula. This one also, just like their contour stick, has that really nice brush to blend out. I'll kind of show you how it just softened that edge there. It is really easy to use, especially given that they give you this brush. It makes it 10 times easier to use. It's all in one, travel friendly. And again, not only shade, but formula are incredible. Pigmented, blendable, the whole shebang. I feel like I just keep saying the same things about this, all of them, but they really all are stunning. Each individual product deserves an A+. I love them all so much, equally for different reasons, but for the same reasons all in one, you know? I would say probably the most pigmented is the Rare Beauty, and then the most dewy would probably be the Say. So moving on, let's talk about this one here. This is the Morphe Blush Balm. This is one of the newer ones that I've reviewed and I've absolutely fallen in love with. It's also a more affordable option, but still sold at Sephora, so very easy to access, but very affordable. And this is the shade Notoriously Neutral. We're gonna have to move on to the arm here. This has more of a soft focus finish, so it almost looks like blur. It kind of like blurs the skin a little bit, so it really gives a smooth effect to the skin. It melts right into the makeup and becomes a part of, it's very skin-like, and it's actually the one I'm wearing today. So it looks really nice and natural, yet still very noticeable. It is the most incredible shade. It's called Notoriously Neutral, and it is just to die for. Easy to use, blendable, buildable. You know, you can sheer it out, you can build it up like the other ones. And it is less dewy, but still doesn't, you know, dry out the skin. It doesn't look too matte. It doesn't look like cakey, or it doesn't differentiate in texture or look thick, and it doesn't dry out the skin either. It's really, really beautiful. It's just a different finish, but still looks really nice and healthy on the skin. Another affordable option is the ColourPop blush sticks. This is their blush stick, and this is in the shade Cool It, which is another cool toned option I really love. So it is, I would actually say the Morphe, once it's dried down, has more of a matte finish, like a soft matte, that kind of blurry soft focus effect. The ColourPop right here has more of a satin finish. So it has a tiny, tiny bit of a sheen. Still juices up the skin a little bit, but it doesn't look quite as dewy as the other options I mentioned. Like, you can see the light reflecting a little bit off of these ones. They're not as intense when it's blended into the skin, but it just adds a healthy glow. Whereas this one adds a little bit, but it kind of isn't quite as intense. This is definitely probably my favorite in the drugstore price range because it is so stinking good. It's cheap. It compares to all of the high-end options, and it just has a really nice color range, shade range, and a nice finish, pigmented, blendable, buildable, all the fave things. Okay, so the next one that I really like is the Melt Cosmetics Cream Blush Light in Honey Thief. So this one here I find is somewhat similar to the, what's it called? Morphe Blush Balm, but it has a little bit more of a satin finish than a matte. And it's actually similar in shade too. So they do have similarities, but this one has a little bit more of a creaminess and a little bit, it's not really that soft focus effect, a little more of that satin finish, but it's still really nice on the skin, blends into the makeup. All of these are super lightweight, undetectable, and also very long wearing. Melt Makeup is a very underrated brand. I feel like I sometimes see their products being used, but I have found a lot of favorites from Melt Makeup, and this is one of them. I really love their cream blush. Really beautiful, and that shade is stunning. The next one is the Tarte Sea Breezy Cream Blush, and this is in the shade Pink Sky. This is another cooler toned option. This one here also compares to the Morphe Blush Balm. It has more of that kind of blurred effect, but it still looks very healthy on the skin, easy to use. And again, I'm repeating myself, but there's really not much more I can say there. It's just as stunning. I love it. It is a clean formula, and it is a beautiful shade, and it's just works really nicely into the makeup and lasts all day. The last one is the Hourglass Vanish Blush Stick. This is probably one of the most expensive, but it is honestly incredible. It is not only a beautiful shade, but also a really beautiful formula. It has a lot of pigmentation to it. A little bit goes a long, long way, but it also does blend out. Like you can see, I'm like, it is extremely pigmented, but really easy to use, shears out. It's not quite as intimidating as it looks, and it flatters the skin so nicely. I think it's especially the shade that I love about this. It's also the formula. It also, you know, really sits nicely on the skin. It melts into the makeup. It looks natural. It has a little bit more of that matte finish, but doesn't dry out the skin. All those things I've mentioned about other ones. But this shade is just one that I always find, I'm like, ooh, I love this. Very flattering shade. As I said, it's a shade Sacred. Those are the top 10 cream blushes. I think that those are the ones I could not live without. And I know that sounds ridiculous because there's 10 of them, but I love each and every one of those so much. Those are my top 10. I hope you guys liked this video, found it helpful, and I hope you guys can find a recommendation in this sea of stunning blushes. Again, check them out. You will not regret it. You will not be disappointed. They are all seriously, like, I'm like, I kind of want to take my makeup off and like just bathe myself in cream blush because I love them all so much. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys found one that you can find helpful and that you'll fall in love just as much as I did. So give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys next time.